James 1:19 says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. This is today's live on Equa Television International, and we're glad you could join us on today's package. Thank you for joining us, and my awesome and amazing crew are right here. I have Prudence, Bruga, and Samuel Solomon. Good morning.
Good morning, Joyce.
Wow, I like the smile and I like the calmness, like...
Jesus is in church.
You know, I started by reading the scripture, and obviously, like, you're abiding by it.
Is that the idea? That's why I'm telling you. I say Jesus is in church. Yes.
Wow, amazing. And, like, we always, we are where we are today because he has been with us all the way. And we'll say thanks to God. Thank God for seeing us through. Like, we can't thank him enough. Like, we're in the last month of the year, from January down to December. It has been God all the way, and we say glory to his name. Thank God for our families, thank God for our friends, and thank God for everyone that is around us. Like, why are you guys so calm? So because I started by reading the scripture, you should be slow to speak.
So what are you trying to say?
Wow.
You've not been calm all this while. Is it what you're trying to say, or
No, you've been calm. Oh.
I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to gang up?
No, we are not ganging up. It's just that that's how it feels.
We just want to
we want to
understand where you're coming from. So
we would be listening.
that's why we are just calm, so that we'll listen to what you are saying, and then we'll process it, and then understand from which angle you're coming.
Wow, I like that. Well, you're already... Before the end of the show, we'll get to know if actually what I'm thinking is right or not. Well, on today's live, today we'll be looking at good listening habits. Good listening habits. You know, the skill of good listening is incredible, and then it is rare in our human race today, and fundamental to being human is our ability to communicate. So today we are going to be looking at good listening habits. Like, what is this good listening habit? Because some people will say, like, I don't understand. Listening, is he not listening? Hearing, is he not listening? So what now we are adding habits to it. So it means it's just more than the word. There is an action that is expected. So let's talk about this good listening habit.
Okay, yeah, we already jumped into good listening habits, but I think it's more important for us to understand exactly what listening is. Most of us just hear what somebody has to say. Somebody is saying something, we're just hearing the person, but it doesn't really register. We're not listening. Yes, and I mostly have that kind of issue. I'm talking to somebody, and then the person is like giving me a form of just finish saying what you're saying. That's the attitude I feel like the person is giving, and then the person is like, no, I'm listening to you. But in my mind, I'm no longer interested in having a conversation again because the person has already put me off. So majorly, a lot of us really need to understand what listening is. And I came across this that says listening is the ability to accurately receive well the interpreted message that the person is passing across. So it's like when this person is talking, he's expecting that you will hear him, digest what the person is saying, and get the right message that this person is passing across. Because if you're not doing that, the person will just become discouraged to even continue talking to you, and it could really affect relationships. So we really need to understand that hearing isn't always listening, and when we tell somebody, oh, I'm hearing you, that doesn't mean I'm listening to what the person is saying. I'm probably not paying attention to what the person is saying. I'm probably doing something else at that moment. I could be we could be on today's live and everybody's talking and my mind is somewhere in Southern Fries.
Wow.
You feel for that
I
advert.
think, yeah.
I'm just saying,
I agree with you.
I'm not trying to do any advertisement. I'm just trying to think of one of the easiest ways. You'll probably be thinking
like your
of
mind
food.
is
your mind is just not there. So you're not listening at that moment. You're just hearing what the person is saying. And if you go out of if we should go out of the place we are right now and you ask me what exactly was said, I'll probably not remember because my mind wasn't even there in the first place. So I wasn't listening. It did not register in my head what you were saying.
Well, we say hearing is the act of perceiving sound and receiving sound waves or vibration through your ear. The listening is the act of hearing sound and understanding what you hear. So that's just the difference. So when you are talking to someone and he said, I'm hearing you, then you know what the person is trying to say. Possibly, maybe, because one thing that I notice is that people don't really know the difference between hearing and then listening. So when you are talking, someone will just say, I'm hearing you. What he's trying to say is that I'm listening. But if you check the meaning, the person is trying to tell you, I'm not with you. You understand? So, and then you see, because you made a preamble that in this life, you know, one of the key things is communication. And then once there is communication, definitely there must be listening. So once there is no listening, there's no communication, because anything that is being communicated, you are expected to assimilate, you know, and then understand and then respond appropriately. So once there is not that, automatically there's no communication. So listening is very, very key. It's very important in communication. So like the difference between listening and then hearing, which is very key for people to know. You know, your question, a good listener is someone who focuses completely on what another person is saying and engages with their ideas in a thoughtful and comprehensive way. That's good listener. You see him with that attribute. You know, when someone is talking, you focus, you concentrate, and then you try to like assimilate what the person is saying and then respond in such a manner that, you know, it gives meaning to what the person is saying.
I like the fact that you all talked about not just listening but even hearing, because there's actually difference. I might say I'm hearing you and the sound is coming, but my attention might be divided. But when it comes to listening, it means that your ability to accurately receive and then interpret messages in the communication process. And like I said, fundamental to being human is our ability to communicate. Like we cannot exist without communication. And that's why for communication students, they will tell you that even in heaven, communication continues. Like that's the only thing. You know, everybody has the way of defending his profession. And they will tell you that without communication, no other profession will actually exist. And fundamental to human existence is our ability to communicate. And what happens when we are communicating but the message is not being received? Or what happens when we are communicating, I'm sending a message, but you are interpreting it in another way, or what I'm trying to pass to you, you're not even getting it at all. It becomes a problem. No wonder we have conflicts today. And if you ask me, that is why this topic is very key. Good listening habits. Because if we have good listening habits, of course, it's going to limit conflict, crisis, misunderstanding, and a lot of things. So as we live together, we interact in our world today, we find out that we are communicating, messages are going up and about, and it is very sacrosanct that these messages are clearly understood. Sam Lumon Prudence, we live in a world where talks and broadcasting are, you can find it everywhere. The advent of technology have made it easy for you to just see information, sounds, everything going on. But how much of good listening, like, do we have today? Like, you see that everybody is like waiting for a message that will just trigger something in him and then he just explode. People hear rather than listen. So you see, in a process of messages being passed, instead of me trying to get what are you trying to pass, and then I'm quick to, I want to respond. We feel that we already know where the person is headed to. There's way somebody can be talking, wait, hold it there. You get, person will hold it there.
I know where you're headed.
And person, no, that's not what I'm trying. I know it's not this person. That's how you did it before. And like, so everybody is trying to this over familiarity syndrome. And it's not just affecting just the family, our relationships, even our understanding of God's word. Like, people feel they have grown to a point that we know everything. So even when they go to church and message is being preached, the person is waiting for a mistake, so that, or waiting for something that he can just respond back. People don't like listen. Real listening is not taking place. You can, like she said, she can be talking with you and then, yeah, I can hear you, but your attention, do you know that non-verbal communication is like is key? Some people will not talk to you, but their expression will pass the message. So I'm talking to you and then you're like, I'm hearing you. You have already off the person. Like, you have damaged that relationship. The person can just decide to maybe complete the conversation because you have started, but you have already weakened. Yes. So it is important that when we talk or when people talk to us, we develop this habit of listening, listening to understand, listening to assimilate, listening to be able to interpret the message accurately. Because it can only take listening for you to be able to understand and interpret it accurately. But if you don't, at the end of the day, what you have is that, like I said, misunderstanding. So it's very paramount that in today's life, as we interact, communication, you find it everywhere, talks, broadcasting, they're everywhere. But fundamentally is our ability to actually listen. And listening takes focus. It takes concentration. And like, this is something you do cautiously and intelligently. People think I have the ability, I have the skill, I can be hearing you and doing other things. But whether you like it or not, if you're doing different activities and while somebody is talking to you, if you're not really focused on what the person is saying, you can be distracted. And once you're distracted, the message could be distorted. When we listen, let's listen with that intention of understanding and then interpreting that message rightly. There are actually obstacles. Today, there are a lot of obstacles to actually good listening habits. Like we've always said, we live in a world where people are faced with challenges, problems, trials of all kinds. And whether you like it or not, consciously or unconsciously, these things affect your listening habits. Sometimes you can be in a church or in a prayer meeting and then message is being passed and all your eye contact is there, every concentration is there, but your mind is far away. Like she said, maybe they are talking and then you're thinking of food. You're thinking of rice. As a father, the next meal, how you pay school fees. As a young lady, maybe you're thinking of a relationship, that the quarrel that you had, how you're going to settle it. There's something like this clothes you want, and then your money is not up to, like, I need a phone, I need a car, and all of that you're thinking of. So, and then somebody is there talking to you. It needs deliberate effort. Maybe we want to talk about some of these obstacles to good listening habits.
You know, listening, you have to listen with your mind. Yes, because everything is being processed there. So, yeah, this your ear is just a gateway. It's just a gateway. You know, it's just like you planting something on the ground that is not fertile. Already you know the result. So, you know, once the information is coming, it will pass through the air to the mind. And the mind will process it and do the needful. So imagine the mind is distorted. That's why in one of the topics we talked about the issue of the struggle, the battle in mind, you know, because everything happens there. Yes, because day-to-day life, you are being choked with so many things, and then it's good that you started, on the foundation of the Word of God, where you read that passage, and you see all of us here. That's our compass. That's our foundation. The Bible did not promise us that everything about our lives, is going to be smooth as Christians. Definitely there is going to be challenges. But the most important thing is that God had given us His word that it will help us navigate this. So at a particular time, yes, you will be choked with so many things, just like this season and period that we are. Now parents are thinking of how to buy Christmas rice, how to buy clothes for their children. The income is not forthcoming. With the new policies, in the country, in Nigeria, just imagine now, you can only withdraw 100,000 in 5 days. You understand? Those kind of things are coming. You are thinking of how to go about it, even getting the income. You are thinking of the policies that it would even stop you and limit you from so many things. And then you are receiving information from left, right, center, particularly with this issue of internet, that we are just prone to every kind of information that is out there. And then your eyes too are another contributing factor to what goes in the mind, because you hear and you see. The picture goes straight to the mind, and then the mind is distorted. The mind is worried, and then here you are being given an important information that you are supposed to process, and the mind is distorted. We will not say all hope is gone, right? Because God have told us exactly what to do in His word. So the thing is that you have to guard your mind. Yes, you have to guard your mind. When you guide your mind to things that comes in, that means now you will have a percentage of things that can make you not even balance. In the sense that when you take negative things and it settles in the mind, definitely the mind will be distorted. Any other thing will come, it's going to be a struggle. But once you take in positive things, that the percentage is weighing the negative, then that means there is a certain level of control, which means that at least any information that comes, you can process it, and then you can process it and then do the needful, and then respond to whatever you are receiving. And I'm assuring you, if your mind is being guided, definitely, I believe your response to whatever information you receive is going to be positive. That's the reason why, example that you made earlier, that when someone is talking, once he starts talking and then the other person is shutting him, prudence, just leave it. Just sort of, I know where you are heading at. Just like that. Possibly, maybe you don't know where the information is coming and then where she's headed at. But automatically you just shut her down. Possibly, maybe it's for your own good, what she wants to say. But you made her feel like, okay, you don't even need the information at that particular point. So it's because of how your mind process it. Because if they said from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So if you are full of negativity, if I'm full of negativity towards whatever Prudence says, even if she's telling me something that will even save my life, I will see it with full of negativity. That is why today you will have wonderful pastors, wonderful teachers that are out there, great people that have a lot of content that people can learn from, hold from, and then that information that will change someone's life. But simply because you have you have polluted your heart with so much negativity towards the person. So anything the person say, you won't see it. That's why somebody will be even cutting the word of God, but you will see someone countering it. Do you know why? It's not that he's arguing the word of God, but the person that is saying it, because I'm full of negativity with the person. So these are some of the factors that sometimes, it affects us, even in processing information that is useful to us, because our heart is full of negativity. So I feel one thing that we should do, we should clear our heart from negativity to positivity, so that even if it's somebody that is your enemy, that you think is your enemy, there's a lot of information that is embedded in the person that it can be helpful to you. Why not remove that negativity and be positive towards what that person is giving out, so that it will be of help with you for you?
There's something else about listening that we sorry, we fail to get, and that is that listening helps in our relationships. So you're having whatever form of relationship that you're having with somebody, if you're not attentive to the person and you don't listen to what the person is saying, it really affects your relationship. So I got to a point one time that in my house, we are fond of doing this thing. It's like you find 3 or 4 people talking at the same time, and everybody's expecting you to hear or listen to what he or she is saying. But at some point, you find that some of us will just freeze our points. We don't say anything again. And later on, somebody's like, you were saying something, continue. We're hearing what you were saying. But at that point, the person was very discouraged because he didn't think that you were communicating. The person was thinking that at that moment, you were just, I don't know, maybe somewhere else. Your mind was not there with him anymore. So the person becomes very discouraged and no longer wants to say what he had to say in mind. And then it would, if things like that continue to happen, whatever form of relationship, even in the office, when you continuously talk to somebody and the person is not paying attention to you, and you're saying something and the person is not understanding what you're saying, there's no communication going on, you're just talking, you would find that your relationship with that person becomes on a shallow level. You don't relate well with the person. That cordial relationship, the work relationship wouldn't be there again, because you're not confident that the person is listening to what you're saying. And another thing that affects our listening is the fact that all of us are impatient. A whole lot of us are impatient. You can't just sit down and relax and hear what this person has to say to the end. You're already trying to interpret what the person is saying in your head, and then, or when the person begins his first sentence, you're just saying, maybe the person, for instance, just said, Joyce, so I was just thinking about how we're going to go about this program. I think this topic is, you would be trying to think of the response you're giving the person. You're not even listening to what she's saying about, you're not even understanding where I'm heading to with my question. You're just jumping into to answer. Let me just give this person an answer so that the person will just let me be. And when we do that, it hinders communication. We're not listening. We're not paying attention, and we're not even obeying the verse that she was saying. She said, slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to speak. So we need to inculcate that habit in ourselves, that you listen to people first. That's words from your mouth. Words that come out from your mouth will come out with intent. They will come out with meaning. You're not quick to answer something, and then at the end of the day, you come back and you're thinking to yourself, what exactly did I even say? Why did I even say something like that? Because you're already jumping into conclusion of what the person was saying without even hearing where the person was heading to, or understanding what the person is trying to communicate to you. So that hinders communication. Again, as I said, the whole essence of communication, as a communication people will say, you would send, encode, receive, and all that. It wouldn't be there. Yes, there's distortion. Then that's where noise comes in. Just at the end of the day, if like 2 days later, or 2 days down the road, or 3 days down the road, and the person is like, "Oh, I told you this yesterday," and you'll be like, "You did? I don't remember."
I can't remember. You know, Prudence, like while you were talking about the fact that the person can just get discouraged when he's talking to you and then like you're not paying attention, have you seen a child that is trying to talk to his parents and then the parents are not listening? Do you know, I used to have like my younger brother, he would just start crying if he's trying to talk to you and you are not listening to him. Since everybody's busy in the house talking, and then he would just start crying. That's tell you how important listening is to building relationship. When you listen to people, it shows that you care about them. Like we spoke about how that people can build friendship, how if you want to start friendship, you need to develop the act of listening to people. People have a lot of problems, challenges they are going through, and they need people that will listen to them. Like listening is a ministry. If you listen to people, like it heals. People want to talk, they want to vent. Do you know what it means that I give you my attention, everything? Oh, I'm here for you, talk to me. And then the person, you allow the person to say all of his challenges, and then you listen to the person. The person gets attracted to you. Tomorrow he wants to come closer to you, and you are already passing a message that I care about you, I'm concerned about you. So I think listening is one of the underrated relationship building tools. And so it is important that we inculcate that. And while we're talking about good listening habits, we're not talking about you exposing yourself to information that are negative. No, you shouldn't pay attention to such information. The information that will come to destroy you, like that is bent on destroying. That was one of the tools that the devil used in the Garden of Eden when he went to Eve. What did Jesus tell you about all the trees? And she said it. He said we can eat every other fruit except this. And he used the information that God gave them. And then that was what he used to destroy, to get at them. So the devil looks out for information that we have that are useful to build us. And then he walks against it. So there are informations that will come to you. You don't have to give them that attention. Yes, you can use the hearing. I can hear you. In fact, you don't even need to hear. So there are things that will come, and then you know it's going to weaken you, it's going to destroy you, it's going to lead to your downfall. You shouldn't even give attention to that. But when we talk about good listening habit, we're talking about building one another, information that will help in building relationship, information that will help message being encoded without misunderstanding, and at the end of the day, there won't be any conflict. There are times that I can be seated and somebody wants like try talking, and I know that it might lead to argument, or I'll just like, I would even give the deaf ear. I will even give you the opportunity to think I'm even hearing you talk more of even listening to you, because when we talk about listening, it requires full attention. Full attention, focused concentration, and careful thinking. You're not just hearing, you're not just listening so that you just reply, but you want to understand not just the word but the context before you reply. Everybody is eager, like we are already talking about the obstacle. Pride. People are just eager to talk. People want to show that I know too. People want to show that I'm familiar with, so I know where you're headed. As the person is talking, you're not listening so that you can also add up, but you want to just hold it there. And then you see those attributes in, as you're talking, the person will just shut you down, and that's not what you're even actually trying to say. Maybe there are times that you pass a message to somebody, oh, can you get me that cup, and the person will go and bring pots. How would you feel? Like some children can do that. Get me that cup, and then the person will bring pot and come and give you. That's how hurtful that can be.
It's actually funny. I do something like that. When my mom sends me, get me this cup, I come back and I'm handing it over to my sister, and my sister is like, I didn't ask you for that.
So people do that, and I think it's important. Like, people should understand that the bottom line is people trust. Like, they trust a good listener, because when you listen to them, it demonstrates that you care about the person and speaking more than you care about yourself. So give people that benefit of that. Hear them. It's a ministry, like I said earlier on. No wonder the Bible says be slow to speak. Quick, like be slow to speak, but you should be able to listen. So it means that when you listen, like you are slow to speak, you even avoid the anger at the end of the day that will lead to even conflict. So it's important.
I think the verse you read, summarize everything, because if the Bible will say,
be quick to
to listen, but slow to speak. While you are taking your time, you know, that mark time,
Yes.
you are processing the information
Yes.
to know whether you will say something or you'll be quiet. Because keeping quiet can also be a reply to an information. Just like the way you said earlier, there are some information that will be coming to you and then you process them immediately and you'll be like, no, I don't think I should respond, because if I respond, this is how it will end.
Yes, yes.
You understand? And then you look at, okay, now I have listened to that person keenly, carefully, with all my body, mind, and soul, you know. Now I'm processing the information. It can be your response by asking questions so that you will not misunderstood the person based on the context of which he's coming, because you want to get it clear before you will respond. So just imagine somebody will just say something and then like the example she gave, you know, maybe Prudence receive an information from Oga and then he'll be like, okay, today's life, instead of doing this topic, good listening, we are doing relationship. And then you are supposed to lead the delegation, you know, and then she's like, Joyce, you know, this program today, and then you'll be like, no, there's no problem, is good listening. And then she'll be like, she just received an information she want to pass to you that would even help you to like rearrange your opening and stuff like that, to know that even the topic has been changed. So you see how you can respond quickly and then it will be an issue. Just imagine then you not listening to her and then you come and then you sit down and then maybe she's not going to be on the show. You understand? And she's there and then you start your opening. Today we are going to discuss about good listening. And then the boss is like looking at you like, she didn't get the information. Did Prudence pass this information? And then this is what others are prepared to come and, you know, and discuss. And then, do you know that will end your query? These are some of the disadvantages of not listening. It will just lead you into trouble. That's why you find out so many people respond to so many kinds of information that today they are regretting. Why? Because they were quick to react, quick to respond, and then it became a problem. Later they will be saying, I didn't know that was the angle you're coming. Honestly, that was not my intention. But already you have committed yourself. Did you say that? Yes. So we are judging you based on what you said. We are not looking at it from even the angle that you understand the context or you didn't understand the context. And so that's just one of them.
And Joyce and Mr. Solomon, I actually came across this in Proverbs, and it was interesting because
you are in the spirit. I was about to go to that Proverbs, because I think when people read from Proverbs, you see that when you are quick to speak.
Proverbs.
We'll get them.
Do you know what it describes somebody that is so quick to speak?
It says you are a fool. It says it is a fool who takes pleasure. Sorry, let me take that again. It is a fool who takes no pleasure in understanding, but only expresses his opinion. That's a different version. Another version says, fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. So if you're too keen on listening to yourself, you just want to hear
dishing
yourself
out
talk.
your own opinion.
Yes, let people hear what you have to say, and you're not listening to what they are
in
saying.
In summary, you are a fool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what the Bible says.
Yes.
You
won't even learn anything. You just want to, your own opinion is what matters to you. The opposite of fool is what? Like wise. So it means that the wise person is slow to speak. And I'm well equipped. And if I listen to you, I add up to what I have. I am wise. But I have mine and it's just mine I want to dish out. I'm not, like, I don't want to hear your own. Like, a fool doesn't even want to understand the context. And I think some people, it has to do with their personality. Like, when you just hear, like, it's as if they're talking about this conversation, bah, you just go and contribute and blah, blah, blah. Then later, after talking before you want to think.
That's not what we're talking about.
Those people are filled with regret. There are implications to actually not having this good listening habit.
True.
You always end in regret, pain, anger. There will be misunderstanding. Like people, you always have conflict with people because you're always saying things at the wrong time or you without even understanding. No wonder the Bible says you are a fool. I don't know if you want to be like the proverbial fool or you actually want to be the wise person who like Jesus. Because if you look at the life of Jesus Christ, he was always listening. He even asked, what do people say about me? Why you think he doesn't know who he is? But he said he wants to hear other people's opinion. People kept asking questions, master, this master, and he will hear them and he will now answer those questions. Then he likes to hear other people's opinion. So do you want to be like that fool or you want to be as wise as Jesus? Because if we say we are Christ-like, then we should see the example of being Christ-like should be reflected in us. It should, like, people should see us imbibing that listening culture, like good listening habit. People should see us being slow to speak, slow to anger. Let's not be too excited that when you're passing and then some people are just talking, it has nothing to do with you. You don't even understand the context. You know that there are words that have different meanings. But you just pass because it seems as if they are saying this and you just contribute. Have you not seen people that they will just come, you are talking about different things, and they will just say, that's how it and then it happened recently, we were talking about a different topic, then somebody just walked in and just contributed. Then the other person was like, she laughed and she now said, it's not even what we're talking about. Then you get looked so confused and you get, so you don't have to bring shame to yourself by imbibe that culture. When you do that, like, you are imbibing the attitude of Christ.
Oh, we got carried away when we were just talking about the passage. We didn't actually tell you where we got that. It's Proverbs 13 verse 2 that says that. And then if you read down to Proverbs 13, it says, to answer before listening, that is folly and shame. So the whole, just read through Proverbs 18. I think you'll get a lot of things about listening. It makes sense that if you make a fool of yourself when you don't listen. And then and when you actually listen to what people have to say or what somebody is telling you, you'll be able to understand. You'll get wisdom. Because understanding comes from listening. That's the truth of the matter. You can't understand something that is not being said or acted. So even if it is an act, you need to listen to the act. Listening is like a very broad something, but then most of the times when we hear listen, we're just expecting what somebody's saying. But listening goes with behaviors too. You can listen to somebody's behaviors. You could listen to somebody's character. Somebody's character can communicate to you, so you're listening at that point in time. You could listen to a whole lot of things. You could listen to what you see as well. Or rather, that's my own opinion, though. I'm thinking, if you open your mind to possibilities, I think you're a good listener.
And you know the good thing about it is a skill.
Yes.
It can be developed. So it means that no matter how bad you are, maybe with listening habits, like you can learn it, you can develop it. Like, I would like us to look at some of the habits of a good listener and how you can become, because it's a communication skill. It's something that we can learn. No, we don't want people to become fools. We don't want our society to be full of fools.
I like that.
That makes sense.
I think I should become a rapper. So it is important that we encourage people out there. Like, maybe you're really bad or at listening habits, and then you want to develop one. Laziness is one of the reasons why people don't listen, because it takes your attention, focus, and everything. And the person will like, I don't have time for that. So the person will be distracted. And then advent in technologies, like I said, our world is filled with talks and a lot of broadcasting. So people are distracted with all of this. And the way you relax and unwind, you love to watch movies and all of that. So even when somebody is passing a message to you, you think you're listening and then you're still. So these are some of the obstacles to effective listening. But the good news, like I said, is something we can actually work on. And we're going to be looking at that shortly. But before we do that, let's take some of the comments that we have. We have one from Austin Luca. He said, listening, and then the ear emoji. Good. Thank you for that comment. Yes, he's actually paid full attention. And then we also have one from Celia Elisha. Listening is as difficult as learning a new language, which means we need to be deliberate to listen. Good listening doesn't just happen. You have to make it part of you. And also, I feel once in a while for us to be good listeners. Ask for feedback from people around if you are a good listener to keep us in check. Good. That's one. Good. Thank you, Sele. And I think it's very important. Yes. Like she said, once in a while, ask people, do I talk too much? Or
do I listen?
Yes. There was a time we were conversing with my dad.
I'm a good listener?
We were conversing with my dad, and then all of us were talking, and he was like, Kai, you know, used to get tired. I just became so cold, and this man, and I was just lying down on my own. No, you came and said, I should come out, let's talk. Like, come and join us now, let's gist. And then I came out and I started contributing, and he said, me, I don't used to rest, neither. Kai! Like, it means like he got irritated with the way I was talking, like, Kai! And I just became so cold, and I told him, okay, I beg to take my leave at this point. But it's not begging to take your leave, but try to listen to other people's opinion.
And I was just thinking, I think there's some of us actually just become discouraged about that. So I had this habit, maybe it's because I felt I was doing it too much. I had this habit when I'm talking to people, I'll be like, maybe I'll pause at some minute, I'm like, I talk too much, right? And the person, no, you're making sense, go on. Other times I feel like the person is just telling me to continue talking because I'm the one that is, I'm taking the whole conversation. So at some point I became discouraged, so I tried to not be asking, I'm talking too much in your conversation. But I think when I did, I was conscious of what I was saying and to what direction I was heading with what I was saying to the person. But when I stopped doing that, I think I lost track of that. But now that she said it, I think I'm going to look back into it again.
Thank you, Celia. At least somebody is going to practice on what you said. And you know, like I said earlier, we need to talk about some of the habits of a good listener, so that somebody out there that I'm bad at listening and I want to learn, so that at least I won't be like the proverbial fool, but I'll be a wise person. I'll be able to listen to understand, so that when I speak, have you not like seen people that when they talk in a gathering or in the meeting, like everybody is wild, like you have to look for pen and paper to write because of the sense they are making out of it. And have you not seen people that in a meeting, they are so quick to raise their hand that they will just make points out of context, and you'll be like, wow. God. And maybe you've been seeing that person in one big light, and then all of a sudden you just say, Kai, like he has dropped down his GP according to Mr. Asa. You say, your GP has dropped. So there are people, the way they just respond out of context, and then their GP will drop. Sure. So, and then there are people that when they talk, people are wow. People are, like sometimes when there are certain people that when I listen to or when I watch them, I'll be like, how did you get all this wisdom? But it doesn't just happen. It is from keen listening. And they can do that like through reading, exposing themselves to different things. When you watch, you watch with the intention of getting the message, understanding it, so that you'll be able to interpret it. So one of the habits of a good listener is patience. Once somebody is there to talk to you or somebody is talking to you, yes, you're patient so that you'll be able to get the message, interpret it, understand it, and so that when you make your own contribution to be in line. So one of it is patience. You have to develop that attitude of being patient to hear, because it takes full attention, focus. And if it takes that, then you have to be patient. You can't be in a hurry to listen. So it takes focus. Like talking about focus again, it means that my attention has to be on the message and even the person that is passing the message. That way you can get it clearly. Not like you're on your phone and they say, Prudence, get me that pot, and you go and bring cup. Your mom will be like, are you okay? just make a fool out of yourself. So focus. It takes eye contact as well. Imagine that we're conversing like this and you're talking to me and I'm busy on the phone, or I'm trying to take my tea, or I'm just trying to buckle my shoe. You can get discouraged and just feel like, oh wow, I've been talking to myself. Let me mind
I feel like
my
you're
business.
attacking me because I just did that.
You see? I was talking to you.
And I was
My
thinking.
heart in time. And she decided to take her. You know, well, this is allowed.
No,
Because-
there's a reason. It's because she was choked.
Yeah, and she has been talking, so I
Yes.
understand. Okay, you're speaking for your
Yeah,
sister,
too.
Abby. Oh, I understand.
So, okay, just
He's practicing.
Yes, he's practicing.
So clarify, like listen to be able to get clarity in the message. And also there are times that you need to take notes, like I said. When you do that, it reminds you of what, sometimes you need to go back and digest what the person said. It could be in a lecture, like you see students taking notes in a meeting, so that you're able to digest and get the real message that is being intended. Like I said, when you listen, is an act of love. Good listening goes hand in hand with the mindset of Christ, and you can get that in Philippians chapter 2 verse 5. It flows from a humble heart that counts others more significant. That is good listening. When I pay attention, I'm trying to say that what you have to say is very important, is there. So it is an act of love. And then it looks not only to its own interest, but also the interest of others. It is patient and kind. That's good listening. And that's just the attitude of Christ. And good listening is after perceptive questions. That's why I said that Christ, in his journey, we saw how that he was always, people asked questions, he answered, like he was interested in what they think, their understanding, and all. Good listening is a ministry. We've said that. So people have a lot of burdens, they have pains, they have challenges that they are going through. When you give them that benefit of listening to them, you help them to, at least, even if it's the advice that you give them at the end of the day, you help them ease that pain. Sometimes you don't even have to advise, but when you listen to them, it reduces the burden. So it is actually a ministry, and it reflects our relationship with God. Good listening. When you don't listen, it's obvious that you don't even listen to God as well. Because if people are talking and then you're just quick to respond. So how do you listen to God? Because you listen to God by reading the word, by praying, by trying to be broken before him to hear what he has to say. So it's not every time that you're always like opening your mouth and shouting everywhere. Sometimes you have to be calm and listen. So it shows, it reflects our relationship with God. When people listen to other people, it shows that you are significant, and that's the character of Jesus. And it means that I've actually built a relationship with God to an extent, and that is why I'm saying that you are also significant. So when people always shut people down, when they don't hear people, it's obviously saying that you don't even regard God, you don't have a relationship with him.
And I just wanted to point out the upsides of good listening habits. I'm not saying that that's not what we've been talking about it since the beginning. I'm just saying, in case you missed it out, let me just list out some of them. The upside of good listening is that you would have good relationship with people around you.
Yeah.
Your relationship is going to be on a different level. And then it will cut down on misunderstandings.
Yeah.
That's a very, that's something that a lot of us fail to understand. Like, the more you listen to somebody, the better you understand the person, and there will be no unnecessary misunderstandings. And it heals. Why I say it heals, if you visited a psychiatrist or a psychologist before, sometimes they just let you talk. But the fact that they're listening to what you have to say is healing process already for you. You begin to get, at least you know that there's somebody out there who cares and is trying to pay attention to what you're saying. So it heals. Whatever burdens you were having before you visited that place, you become healed from them. And I think it is important that in every relationship that we find ourselves in, every situation we find ourselves, every day, every step of the way, we try to avail ourselves to be that good listener that somebody is in need of. Because not everybody that would wake up in the morning and go and say, oh, I'm really in need of somebody that will listen. Would you listen to me? No, nobody would be asking such a question. But probably that person is burdened but the fact that you've availed yourself to listen to what that person has to say. Yes, you might have something to say at the end of the day because you listen to what the person and it has been laid in your heart that you should respond to what the person was saying. But the truth of the matter is that the listening ears that you have given the person is probably just that thing that the person needed at that moment in time. So we should be careful and conscious and cautious about listening. All those things should be deliberate. Listening is something that is deliberate. As Celia in her comment said, it doesn't just happen. You grow it, you develop it. It's a skill, so you can develop it. If you think that you have not done it and you feel like it's already too late for you, well, I'm just telling you now, it is not late. You can start now. Start now. Like, as we're talking to you now, you can just start by listening. Just start by listening to us first. Yeah, so it's quite interesting how if you really listen, you're going to go a long way being of impact to your community. Sometimes I find it hard to understand why certain people come around our house, but then when they begin to talk, you would hear that you say, when I came to Daddy and he listened to me, I knew that I had a father. So I know that the reason why we have people around us at some point is because I have somebody in our house who is ready and open to listen to what your problem is. Even if he's not going to provide you the solution, but the point is that he listened to you at that time, and that's just what the person needed at that time. So as I said earlier on, it is a really underrated tool of relationship.
And you know, everyone is a leader. And I think one of the key thing that a leader should have is listening. It's very key. It's very key. So if you are seeing yourself, if today you know that you are a leader and you don't have that, I think already is a minus. And there's one person that I think I'm looking up to, and then I'm learning, who is the ECWA General Secretary, Reverend Dr. Yunusa Madu. You know, he's somebody, if you know the exigencies of of his office, then you will know that that person is a busy person. But if you want to talk to him, he gives you time. He drops everything. Even if it will take you hours to talk to him, he will stop everything and everybody from entering, and he will listen to you. That means without minding, like, whether you are small or based on, in the eyes of the society, like, you understand. If you are coming, like, let's say, the way people look at it, you are coming from the gate, you know. So he gives everybody, like, he listens to you. And I hear people testifying about that this is one of the qualities that he possesses. I was so happy, I was so encouraged, because in leadership, you have to acquire that, you know, because you deal with people, so you have to listen to them. It's going to be either in the family or in the office. Definitely they will bring issues that concern the office. You have to listen to them and look at it from different angles. Is it personal? Definitely they can still bring it in office because they are looking at you as a boss. You have to listen. So I think he is leading us, he's giving us a step to follow, but the ultimate is Jesus Christ. Everything about him, you know, is a perfect summary of everything. You talk about patience, slow to listen. Look at how, you know, he listened to people. He advised people. He says certain things, you know, at the right time, you know. He responds, not just gra, 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 gra. I didn't mean he did gra, gra, gra. I believe maybe by now, he may be still...
I really wish to listen more to you, but I think we'll do it outside the show because our time is actually fast spent. And it's important that people know that listening is very important to building relationship, and listening requires full attention, it requires focus, concentration, and careful thinking. I asked you the question, do you want to be like the proverbial fool, or you want to be like Jesus. The ultimate, of course, is Jesus. He is our model when it comes to good listening. So when you listen keenly to people, it's going to help encourage them. It is a ministry. And I want to end with James 1:19 again, that says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Thank you for doing this with me. Great analysis and
Pleasure.
conversations as always.
Yeah.
And I hope let's do this again tomorrow.
Sure.
So our viewers out there, thank you so much for all your comments, your likes. We really appreciate. For our producer, Linda Phillips, thank you so much. Martha should be on the internet. Thank you for helping us with the comments. And Martha Isa behind the camera, Hassan Danjuma. Thank you, Victor Bande, for editing, and thank you to Wasi MCR. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until come your way tomorrow, same time, be kind to one another. Give them that benefit of listening. Bye-bye.